Let's cross to Washington, D.C. and speak to political advisor Rina Shah now. Rina, thanks for being with us. So what are you expecting from this testimony from the former president? I mean, as we're just hearing from in that previous package, quite a unique situation for the former president to be testifying. What are you expecting?
Look, Washington loves a comeback story, but this week's Clinton depositions feel more like a sequel that nobody asked for. Hillary yesterday, Bill today, both under oath on these Epstein files. From what we've seen so far, it's a lot of I don't recall and no knowledge, which tracks with years of their public denials. But today is the main event. Bill is the one with the documented connections, multiple flights on the Lolita Express for Clinton Foundation work, social overlaps with Ghislaine Maxwell. But remember, Bill Clinton did cut ties around 2005. That was well before Epstein's 2008 plea. So expect the former president to reiterate no knowledge of crimes, purely professional and charity links. And look, I can say as someone who's watched these cycles, this is a high stakes theater. This is, again, a former US president who is being compelled to testify. This situation is not only historic, but it's one that could have some real consequence on setting precedent. I would just caution and say, don't expect any smoking guns here. If anything, it will highlight how much of this is recycled from old airline flight logs and photos.
And is this a serious investigation if the sitting president, who of course we know appears many times in the Epstein files, doesn't testify?
Well, let's first look back at yesterday. Hillary came out swinging after 6+ hours. She flat out said that she never met Jeffrey Epstein, never communicated with him. She made no island visits, no plane rides, nothing. So she called the questions repetitive, and I actually believe her on that. She also pushed hard for public hearings, which is, I think, something Republicans should have done. And Hillary probably made the biggest claim that many Americans might actually get behind, and that's to get even sitting President Trump to testify, pointing out that he has his own photos with Jeffrey Epstein and his own flight logs with him. So I think that was a classic Hillary Clinton move, which turned defense into offense. But I'll just say this also. This was never about new bombshells from Hillary Clinton. She was peripheral at best. The real pressure today is on former U.S. President Bill Clinton.
Do you think that this investigation signals a broader reckoning with the elite in terms of accountability? Are we going to see some more of those figures that have been prominently featured and with much stronger links to Epstein, as Bill Clinton has, come under some sort of scrutiny here, do you think?
Well, let's take a step back. This is the Republican-led oversight committee within the U.S. House of Representatives. They are the ones doing the digging into Epstein. But notice that the focus stays laser sharp on the Clintons, while President Trump's own history gets a pass in the same breath. That was something Hillary even called out. It's selective scrutiny, actually, and elite networks are messy on both sides. That's what we've all come to learn with this Epstein files saga. But this feels like payback politics more than it is truth-seeking. I think the real question after all these years is, why now? Epstein is dead. Ghislaine Maxwell is in jail. And I think victims deserve answers more than anything. And we're getting information trickling out from these files. But what Republicans are seeming to engage in a lot more of is partisan gotchas. So I think if we're serious about accountability, they ought to subpoena everyone with ties, Trump included, and make it public. And I'll just say the bottom line here is that the Clintons are battle tested. They have survived worse. This won't change their legacies overnight, but it keeps the Epstein shadow alive in Washington, D.C. And I think it reminds all of us that power protects itself until the spotlight forces transparency. We'll see what Bill says today, but expect more heat than light.
And what are the American public expecting? I mean, is there still a hunger by the public to have some accountability from their sitting president, Donald Trump?
I think that is the most simple answer I can give you. The answer is yes. Overwhelmingly, every poll is showing that most Americans want this saga not to end, but to come again, continue to bring out new information. They want accountability on every level. And that means, yes, even all the way to the Oval Office.
Rina Shah, live there for us from DC. Thank you so much for your time and analysis.